Hey, as I was preparing for today's video, the on predictive processing, the first part of the four parts of the human thoughts and the human mind that kind of make it so powerful. It occurred to me that not only do we need to know this information so that we're better able to use it to better ourselves and to better our own lives, it's also important to understand these principles so that we can see how they might get used to manipulate us or encourage us to behave in a certain way that somebody else wants, that may be contrary to what we would do if we weren't being manipulated. For example, predictive processing, what it is where your mind builds this sort of a expectation of what you would see or experience in a given scene or setting through previous experiences. So if you were to hear the sound of a running car, you might expect to see a roadway or a driveway or perhaps a garage. But you certainly wouldn't expect to, open your eyes and see that you're in a living room with a running car. Now, another way that might come into play is tone of voice or inflection of voice and volume. You may become accustomed to those meaning anger or love or disappointment, and when you hear them, you have this idea of what to expect to need to respond to. And as we were developing in pre-modern times, some of those this predictive skills would be useful for recognizing danger, or recognizing game trails. As if you could look and see a track and know that's a bear print or a wolf print, you might know that you're in danger. And if you look and you would see a rabbit print or a deer print, you would know that that's food. And the ability to see those things and be able to associate them directly with a situation or an action would be far more advantageous than having to process those, especially processing them like every time you see it. Now, how those could be used to manipulate you, if say you were, take where we are in our modern, society today, where we have, kind of political divides amongst topics of various things. And if you were to be on, one side of the topic and, somebody comes up to talk to you who has an opposing viewpoint, if through your exposure in media, you're told, hey, the other side, they love to talk about this and this and this as, kind of like specific but very narrow topics, then when you get into that conversation and somebody starts going, well, this is what's going on, you were expecting it. So you're like, aha, they were right. That's what they're talking about. And through using this, it makes it feel natural for you to hear somebody say something that you've already heard said about that, and then be more readily able to, dismiss it or move on or have a predetermined response. I've seen whataboutism before as a response to that. So what they'll do is they'll say, hey, they're going to talk about this or they're going to talk about that, but what about these other things? And what happens there is you're building your, that's helping to shape your own predictive processing to where you go, oh, when somebody mentions this topic, I throw back these things. And the whole it's not really, on the whole, it's not helping to, diffuse the situation or to have a knowledgeable conversation, because just because when someone says a response that you were already, a topic or an item that you were expecting them to say, firing back with something that does not answer that specific item is whataboutism. And if you're not familiar with whataboutism, leave me a comment below. I'll gladly throw together a video about whataboutism. If you are, awesome, and hopefully you don't engage in that sort of behavior. I hope you guys have found this little longer video than what I was expecting it would be on predictive processing useful. Don't forget to share this video with anyone you think would be helpful for them to see, and those that would be receptive to wanting to see it. Leave me a comment, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking again with you soon.